Today marks 5 years since the deadliest school shooting in Florida's history. 17 people were killed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on February 14th, 2018. A moment of silence was held this morning across Broward County schools in their honor. And you can see at one middle school in Fort Lauderdale right there, students gathered in the shape of a heart with the number 17 in the middle. In just 30 minutes, a ceremony will begin at the Pine Trails Park, Parkland. What happened in Parkland forever changed school security in our state. Weeks after the shooting, a commission was formed made up of law enforcement officers, educators, lawmakers, and parents of kids who died. They were tasked with figuring out what went wrong and how to prevent future school shootings. 5 years later, 10 Tampa Bay's Liz Crawford shares the many changes and lessons learned.
In 2018, preventing murders inside classrooms and school hallways became Florida's foremost focus.
Children are safer than they've ever been at school.
5 years later, laws have been passed and changes have been made. Hillsborough County Schools Chief of Security John Newman said on paper, Marjory Stoneman Douglas had a good plan.
But they never put the school into a lockdown, which they call the Code Red. In the mitigation world, you can have a great plan, but if you don't identify and communicate that threat, mitigation doesn't happen.
Hillsborough County Schools implemented its alert cards 2 years prior to Alyssa's law, which requires all Florida schools to have some type of panic button in place.
Test lockdown.
In Hillsborough, every staff member wears the card and with a push of a button can alert 911 and put a school on lockdown.
Code Red or a lockdown, you're running, you're hiding, or you're fighting for your life.
Schools added fences, single points of entry, and the Guardian program, requiring an armed guard on every Florida campus.
If all of the other systems and processes fail, someone's got to stop the evil person wanting to kill you and your children.
Now the commission is looking more closely at mental health.
That shooter in South Florida got a lot of mental health services. The problem was he separated from school, and after that he was no one's problem.
If we're not communicating and we're not focusing on the person that has an issue, then that person is allowed to slip through the cracks. We've made a lot of changes with that.
Liz Crawford, 10 Tampa Bay.
A jury sentenced Parkland gunman Nicholas Cruz to life in prison last year. Prosecutors had hoped for the death penalty, but under state law, the jury would have to have been unanimous in that decision, which they were not. That's why just last month, Governor Ron DeSantis announced a proposal to change that law. And right now on our 10 Tampa Bay app, you can learn more about the students and teachers taken that day and see how their families are not only fighting to keep their memories alive, but fighting to change laws surrounding safety in schools.